Good evening. Very good evening from India, and good morning to all those who are across the Pacific. To those who are in US and Canada, a good morning to all of you. So I'm Dr. Nandini Gokulchandran. I represent Neurogen Brain and Spine Institute. I'm the Deputy Director and Head of Medical Services as well as Consultant Regenerative Medicine at Neurogen. Have been working here for the last 12 years now. So today's webinar is one of the series in talking about recent advances in treating incurable neurological condition. The focus on autism, cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, spinal cord injury. And what we are going to talk is about stem cell therapy and what are the other newer things which can now be added. And in addition, how do they work together well to improve the quality of life and function of a child with autism or an individual with spinal cord injury. This presentation is for awareness purpose, for information purpose. It doesn't replace a medical consultation. So why are we here? Uh, we are here because either you are a caretaker of a child with autism, cerebral palsy, or a parent, or an individual who takes care of patients with spinal cord injury or muscular dystrophy, and you want to know uh, what is wrong with your patient and what are the options, what are the possibilities that can help them live an independent life. So for any condition or any neurological condition, what are the current treatment options or paradigms available? Number one, we have always been told that in a neurological condition there is no cure. There is no surgical intervention here. It's not a tumor where you can operate and remove the tumor, or it's not a head injury where you can remove the blood clot. So there is no operation as such which can treat the brain condition. We only have supportive treatments known as rehabilitation, and there are no medicines which can really address the damage or the problem in the brain. So what is new? What is new that we are going to talk? So you do know about rehabilitation, and what we are going to do is add on cell therapy on one side and integrated therapies with hyperbaric oxygen therapy and ozone therapy. Together, these three treatment modalities as a holistic approach can help a child become more independent and an individual become more functional. So you must be thinking, I'm talking about brain, and suddenly here you see what looks like a bone fracture. So it just this is an analogy. For suppose somebody has a fracture of the leg, what would you do? Would you start rehabilitation or therapy immediately? No, you would fix the fracture. Either you would put a cast and let it heal, or you would put a nail and screw and fix the fracture, and then you would do exercise therapy to strengthen the muscles so that you can walk better. So similarly, in a brain, if there is a damage in the brain which is shown here by this blue color, you need to improve the functioning, fix the damage, and thereby do treatment which will help improve the brain functioning, and then do the therapy or rehabilitation which will then give you a good chance of improvement. So the old thought process was that once the nervous system is damaged, it cannot be repaired. However, the new thought after a lot of research is that the brain continues to regenerate. There are new cells formed in our brain throughout life. Example being new memories. New memories are formed in a place known as hippocampus. New neurons are formed, they network again, and that's why we have new memories. Similarly, now we have a possibility of repairing the damaged part or repairing the part which is functioning less through the process of cellular replacement and repair. So cell therapy is an idea whose time has come. It is not a fiction, it is not a futuristic treatment, it is something which is available right now, right here. And it gives us a boost from going from hopelessness to hope. It's a ray of hope, a positivity in our life. So this is a sapling, this is a stem of a tree, and just a stem of a tree, when nurtured properly, gives rise to leaves, flowers, and fruits. Similarly, stem cells are special cells in our body which, when given proper nutrition using growth factors or rehabilitation, give rise to branches and then leaves and flowers and fruits. And that's the speciality of stem cells. Not all cells in our body have these capability, but stem cells have these capability. Stem cells can be taken from our own body and put back in our own body. It's known as autologous. And when cells are taken from outside and put into our body, it is known as allogenic. So, what is the speciality of stem cells again? They can multiply, they can repair, they can replace and regenerate the part of the body which is damaged. So, how do these cells work? They multiply. One cell multiplies into hundreds to thousands of cells. They have the capability of converting to other type of cells. These cells, when put into the muscles, can stimulate muscle repair. They can, if they're put in the joints, they can help repair the cartilage. If they put in the heart, they can help improve the heart functioning. If put in the brain, they can form neurons and connect. So these are examples. You can see this bright round objects here. These are stem cells, and when cultured in the laboratory, you can see they give out new neuron-like cells and giving out axons and connect with each other or talk with each other. So this is in the laboratory. This is the work that we have done, and this is how it looks when you put the cells into the spinal fluid or in the brain. So they can form other type of cells, and then they have paracrine effect. What is paracrine effect? These are release of growth factors or positive factors which stimulate brain functioning and can have a positive influence on the neurons in the brain. Improved supply, it's known as new angiogenesis, so formation of new blood vessels. It's so when the blood supply improves, healing improves, because that also helps to release or to bring in growth factors which will help repair. For example, when there is a wound in our hand, when we get hurt, then at that time you can see there's a redness around the wound area, and that's because of increased blood supply, and then the healing process starts, and the wound heals. Similarly is in any other part of the body, especially the brain. So, what can we see? We see that stem cells has varied aspects or varied functioning. So, this is an example that about 20 years back, what did we have about 20 to 30 years back? That we had a camera to take photographs, we had calculator to do calculations, then we had television to see various channels, and we had actually hard books to read, then we had a clock. So all of these different functions were done by different gadgets. But now all of this is done by one phone. So you have an Android phone or an iPhone, and all of these functions can be done by that one phone. Similarly, that's what stem cell does. This stem cell has many different things, and different modalities were doing, some medications were doing, or some surgery was doing. All that together now, one the cellular therapy is able to actually address all of these functions holistically. So that's the mechanism of action. The cell therapy can immunomodulate, it can reduce inflammation, it causes formation of new blood vessels, it helps to reduce the self death in the brain, the killing of the brain. It acts as an antioxidant and reduces the stress in the body, as well as it helps stimulate the cell migration to help repair the cause the healing of the part which is injured. So, what are the major type of stem cells? The first that we have is the embryonic stem cell. Embryonic stem cell basically comes from a 3 to 4 day embryo from in vitro fertilization clinic. You must have heard of test tube babies. So, test tube babies are basically fertilized outside the body, and then the conceived, or the eggs are then put in the mother's womb. So, whatever is left out, those can be used as a source of embryonic stem cells cultured in the laboratory. However, that is currently not a good feasible option for use for in transplantation or in actual clinical setting because of ethical issues that you might be killing an embryo. So there are certain ideologies or thought processes which do not really condone this. The other problem with embryonic stem cells is formation of tumors or teratomas. This is a reason that actually the stem cell field has got a very bad name when we actually think that embryonic stem cells are the only stem cells, and thereby they cause tumors. But we have other options. You have heard of cord blood, and cord blood, the saving of cord blood is a big market now. So just as we store blood, we can store the cord blood, the cord which connects the mother and child. From there you can get the cord blood of the child, and that cord blood contains a whole lot of different hematopoietic as well as mesenchymal stem cells. So this can be used for blood disorders and is now being used in certain clinical trials for brain conditions as well. The third option that we have is adult stem cells from our own body, from the bone, from the fat, from the teeth, and most commonly used and most studied is the cells from the bone marrow, which are feasible, which do not have any long-term teratoma or teratogenic or tumor formation capacity. We're not killing an embryo to basically procure it, and hence feasible for clinical transplantation. The fourth type that we now know of is known as induced pluripotent stem cells. So these are very recent understood cells or a procedure where adult cells can be transformed into embryonic cells from our own. So these are designer cells, and Nobel Prize was awarded in 2012 for the understanding of this kind of a process. So when we look at this picture, so you have an alcohol on one side and you have homemade orange juice on other side, and if you think of it, both of them are beverages, and you can actually club them saying that, oh, beverages are harmful for our body and they are banned, or they have long-term problems or side effects. Would this be true for this? Isn't it? So you are actually generalizing an alcohol and a homemade orange juice. In the same way, stem cells have been grouped together and said that, oh, they are harmful and they have long-term tumor formation and they are banned. But that's like saying that alcohol and orange juice are the same. So we have to differentiate this. So what we saw here is that embryonic stem cell is like an alcohol, while the adult stem cells are safe, like mother by orange juice made by a mother, or nutritious, and when we use it fresh. So alcohol, embryonic stem cells is like akin to alcohol, while uh, adult stem cells from bone marrow is similar to fresh juice, just squeezed out orange juice, which is nutritious, made with mother's love. So that's why we choose to work with adult stem cells. They are safe, there are no long term side effects, no tumor formation, no rejection issues, because we are using cells from the patient's own body, and very easily obtainable using one very thin needle, and no ethical issues because we are not killing an embryo, and these are taken from the patient's own body. So cells taken from bone marrow are then processed and injected into the spinal fluid in the process that we do at Neurogen. So this is known as intrathecal. So you see this vertebral column, and inside this vertebral column is the spinal cord. Around the spinal cord is the cerebrospinal fluid, and this fluid goes all around the brain and spine. Cells are injected into the spinal fluid. So this process is minimally invasive. There is no big operation. It's just one thin needle which goes into the spinal fluid. It is safe. There are no major side effects. The cells, when released into the spinal fluid, they go and home on to the site of injury in the brain. There is no dilution in liver, lungs, or heart, or other systems of the body. So this is a field of stem cell therapy or regenerative medicine, which is very promising. Where this is the brain with the blue areas is the damaged part. Healthy cells go and repair the damaged cells and stimulate repair as well as are replaced by healthy cells. So, what is the scientific basis of cell therapy? So, cell therapy has been researched for the last 50, 60 years. The first ever Nobel Prize awarded for stem cell research was in 1990 to Dr. Thomas, where he was given a Nobel Prize for demonstration of stem cells in the bone marrow. So, you can understand the bone marrow has been really studied to a very in depth, and we know a lot about it. In 2007, Sir Martin Evans was awarded the Nobel Prize for the isolation of embryonic stem cell in the mice, and recently in 2012, Professor Gurdon and Professor Shinya Yamanaka were awarded the Nobel Prize for the induced pluripotent stem cells. So a lot of research has gone in the understanding of stem cells in the field of stem cells, and this would be the only field in the history of medicine and science, which has got three Nobel prizes. So this gives us the understanding of how much research is going on in this field. At Neurogen, what is the scientific basis? Neurogen is not only a hospital or a treatment place, but is also a research institute where all the work that we do has a background retrospective scientific basis. And we have published over 100 publications on various different topics that we or the conditions that we treat, that is autism, 16 publications, cerebral palsy, 15, muscular dystrophy, 18 publications, spinal cord injury, brain stroke, intellectual disability, ALS, and many other conditions. We also we are also invited to write book chapters in various books which have been put together for example, for autism, recent advances in autism, where we were asked to write a chapter on stem cell therapy in autism spectrum disorder, a book, international book on cerebral palsy challenges for the future, where we wrote a chapter on stem cell therapy for cerebral palsy as a novel option. A book on physical disabilities, again, where stem cell therapy as a treatment for pediatric neurological disabilities was put forth. Muscular dystrophy, how stem cell therapy can be used in muscular dystrophy. Even the government at the highest level is also supportive of stem cell. This is our Prime Minister, who in the year 2014-15 went to meet Dr. Shinya Yamanaka, who is a Nobel laureate, understood the process of induced pluripotent stem cell and brought it to India for research. This is our professor, Dr. Alok Sharma, who's giving the book that we have written on stem cell therapy in neurological disorder, the fourth edition, is presenting it to our Prime Minister. Uh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also written a preface to a book that we translated to Gujarati, a local one of the state languages.
मैं जापान में था। तो जापान मेरे कार्यक्रम में मैंने एक कार्यक्रम क्या जोड़ा कि वहां एक नोबेल लॉरिएट साइंटिस्ट याकामाहा को मिलने गया। मैं इसलिए किया गया, उन्होंने स्टेम सेल के अंदर जो रिसर्च की है, मैंने जितना पढ़ा था तो मेरे मन में आया था शायद इनकी खोज हमारे काम आ सकती है। हम गए तो वहां गए, उनसे चर्चा की, और बेंगलोर के हमारे साइंस इंस्टीट्यूट के साथ आज उस दिशा में हमारा काम हो रहा है कि स्टेम सेल्स के द्वारा हमारे युवा साइंटिस्ट कुछ खोज करें।
So this is the Prime Minister talking about the use of stem cells in sickle cell anemia, but that it was a topic in the Parliament is a big issue. So how is this treatment done for neurological conditions? So I'm talking about neurological conditions and how it is done, how the treatment is done at Neurogen. So the treatment is done in very three simple steps. The first step is the bone marrow aspiration, where from the hip bone in the front. So people think that you have to really lie on your stomach and it is taken from behind. No, your child or an individual is sleeping normally, and from the hip bone in the front, bone marrow is aspirated using a very thin needle. The stem cells are separated in the laboratory and then injected into the back, in lower back, into the spinal fluid. So this is a video representation where you can see individual is lying straight, and bone marrow is like thick blood. It is processed in the laboratory where the stem cell count is separated and counted, and this is injected in via very thin needle into the spinal fluid. So bone marrow is aspirated. This is the bone marrow, and this is what we finally get. It is like a fluffy cotton mass, and millions of cells here, and counted, and the viability is checked, and then injected into the spinal fluid. So let us look at the results in various conditions, namely autism. To be first, you know what autism is. It is a neurodevelopmental condition. What does it mean? That when the brain is developing, at that time there is something which has gone wrong, either the brain is developed slowly or the connections are not formed properly, and that's why it's a developmental disorder, typically seen more in males than as females, and it is a spectrum. So an individual can be mild, moderate, or severely afflicted. There are three main problems. So people think that it's only about speech. It is not only about speech. It is lack of or no motivation for social interaction, impaired communication. So communication, both non-verbal and verbal, and repetitive behavior or interest in very specific activities. So why do we have to really think about autism or look for a treatment for autism? Because the numbers are increasing alarmingly. So 70 million people in the world are found to be on the spectrum. So 1% of the world's population. The recent CDC Atlanta data shows not only 1 in 50 and 1 in 40 is the current statistics. 1 in 40 individuals in the US have been diagnosed to have autism. So, what is the fundamental problem in autism? That's what the parents keep on asking. Why my child and what happened? So, there are various reasons. It is generally a combination of genetic and environment, and sometimes it could be just environment, or so generally it is a combination. So you can't really do too much about genetic factors. Even if there is a genetic background, you can't really change it, but what you can do is see how you can improve the environmental factors. So it's important to see what environmental factors may cause autism. Prenatal and antenatal stresses, intestinal dysfunction, exposure to toxic chemicals, use of mobile phones could be a few causes. Prenatal and antenatal causes, maternal infection when the child is in the mother's womb, well, especially torch infection, that is toxoplasma, cytomegalovirus, herpes, and rubella. Maternal diabetes or any stressors, mother taking antidepressants, PCOD, and smoking in mothers, anemia in mothers as well. The age of the father, if it is too high, also tends to increase the risk of developing autism in a child. Children also have been found to have a lot of gut issues, which leads to a stimulation of a lot of symptoms. And exposure to electromagnetic field when the child is in the mother's womb and the child comes out as well could also lead to altered brain activity. This is a thought which is going on. However, we are seeing increasingly, especially in the COVID time, there have been number of patients who have come to us, and I have had a lot of discussions with parents telling their child was absolutely fine, and in COVID, when things were closed and child was exposed to too much of digital, when too much of phone, suddenly saw regression. So that is something which we need to be very very careful about. The children should not be exposed to too much of phone or ipad within 5 years, at least till 5 years of their age. Different heavy metal poisoning, lead poisoning is seen to have brain defect or development in the brain being affected, especially when the child is in the womb. That's the time when the brain function is majorly affected. Mercury poisoning, too much of mercury could also damage the brain cells. Aluminium poisoning. Vaccines is a controversial topic, and though it was in 1998 shown by one group that preservatives in the vaccine, especially in the MMR, could be responsible for autism, there have been 25 publications after that which have showed that vaccine and autism do not correlate. So now what exactly is wrong? So whatever may be the reason, we need to move ahead and look at what is wrong and what can we do to repair this damage. So this is a PET CT scan of the brain. Now there are different imaging which you would have heard of. You would have commonly heard of an MRI. MRI broadly shows us that all the structures are in the right place. Excuse me. So if you look at the brain here, so this is a brain. Brain is a three-dimensional, and this is just one part of the brain, or one half of the brain. Okay, so you can see here this is a cerebellum, this is a blue part, and this is a main brain. Okay, so the main brain seems to be fine. It is this part of the brain and inside the brain which is functioning less. So structure-wise, everything is in place, functioning is what is affected. So these different colors basically signify or show to you where how much is the functioning. So blue indicates low functioning brain, and darker the blue, lesser the functioning. And green indicates normal brain, while the yellow and red indicates hypermetabolism. So these three areas of the brain, the cerebellum, and here is a mesial temporal, and amygdala and thalamus, are the areas which are functioning less, which correlate with the clinical features of autism. So let's look at what cerebellum does. Cerebellum is like the traffic police of the brain. The main brain, whatever the brain needs to do, cerebellum would execute that function. It's like on the crossroad, if there is no traffic police or if the lights are not functioning, what will happen? What will happen is that there would be a chaos. So whatever the brain needs to do, there is a chaos. There is input, but output is not there. So balance, coordination, fine motor activity, articulation, tongue movement, lip movement, chewing, swallowing, and sensory integration is all function of cerebellum. Then the mesial temporal, this part here, okay, that part is hippocampus, learning, understanding, cognition, memory. Then amygdala, social interaction, emotional expression. These are the areas which you can correlate directly with the clinical features of autism. So we understood, we studied the basis of basic metabolism of brain functioning in autism, and this was published in the World Journal of Nuclear Medicine in 2018, and this is what we found. Now this is very interesting data, and you would also be able to actually try and uh, f- uh, understand this, because you will it will resonate with you. So this blue line that you see, the blue graph, is basically the brain functioning of a neurotypical child. So as the age increases up till the age of 10, the brain functioning increases fast, and then brain metabolism, and then again it increases up till 15. However, it is slower. Okay, the orange line here is a brain functioning of a child with autism. You can see here in the early age, actually, the brain functioning is higher than a normal child, and then it keeps on going down. So that's why the regression. At one point, you can see it crosses the normal and it is going down and down. So, very important that early intervention be started. So, earlier you treat the child, the lesser the gap between a normal brain and a autistic brain, and as the time goes by the gap is bigger and bigger. That's why earlier you treat, better the results. Now the treatment will be holistic. The treatment would be rehabilitation, ABA, occupational therapy, speech therapy, art therapy, physical therapy, diet and nutrition, aquatic therapy, maybe HBOT, chelation if you believe in it, biomedical treatment, and stem cell therapy. So it would be a holistic multidisciplinary management. So let's look at what are the aspects of neurorehabilitation. I'm going to go really a bit fast on it. ABA, a lot of people are doing ABA, but ABA is one aspect of changing the behavior and helping the child to understand the instructions and the environment and follow through. But again, occupational therapy becomes a very important. Sorry, occupational therapy becomes very important. पर नेटवर्क नहीं होगा ना, है नेटवर्क, हाँ. So occupational therapy becomes very important here. Occupational therapy helps the child to understand how to respond to brain to external stimulus. So again, sensory integration is again. Sorry for the we had a power sudden power cuttage. So I'll be restarting now. Reach. Yeah. Thank you for being online. So I was talking about various rehabilitation procedures. So, AB, occupational therapy, sensory integration, speech and language. Speech is not only about speaking but also about communication. Motor impairments. A lot of people do not realize that children also have tone issues, coordination issues, clumsiness, even climbing stairs, and joint attention and stability issues. So, physiotherapy again becomes an important part of the rehabilitation process. Aquatic therapy, exercise in water is again it helps children with autism and other developmental conditions a lot. Art based therapy, music therapy, then of course chelation there is there is some basis to it, but of course everybody thinks about it differently. So yes, chelation is one, can be done with TRS and supplements, multivitamins, diet and nutrition. Food, important is that sugar should be avoided, additives should be avoided, a lot of probiotics. GFCF diet can be tried. So all of these are there, but are we doing enough? Are we really addressing where the problem is? So what are the unmet medical needs? That for first of all, that rehabilitation and medical intervention are the only options right now. What is help? These are helpful in managing the symptoms, like hyperactivity can be reduced, or child can be taught through occupational and EBA therapy. However, the problem inside the brain and the underlying damage is still not addressed, and that's why their stem cell therapy helps. So, what are the results in stem cell therapy? We've treated over 2,500 children and individuals with autism with stem cell therapy and rehabilitation. This is a broad outline of a 700 patients, where we find that about 90% patients showing improvement with stem cell therapy, and 10% not showing any improvement. The 90% show mild, about 25% show mild improvement, about 30% show moderate, and 35 show significant improvements. What are the improvements generally seen? What we generally see is understanding improves, hyperactivity reduces, eye contact improves, attention concentration improves. When this improves, then you can teach the child better, and the child engages in activities better. You see sitting tolerance improve, frustration tolerance becoming better, the child's ability to stretch and to take pressure becomes better, cognitive components improve, and then social interaction and communication and verbalization. So the first ever publication which shows that stem cell works in autism was published by Neurogen Brain and Spine Institute, first time in the world in 2013, where we showed that brain function improves. This is the PET scan, which shows, this is PET scan before the treatment. The blue areas you can see have become less bluer. So, more green, that is functioning has improved. You can see the blue area before the treatment, 6 months later, it has become more active. So green indicates active brain. Again, you can see here these blue areas becoming more green. The second publication recently in 2020 came in the American Journal of Stem Cells. The sample size of 254. So the earlier publication was a 32 patient publication. This is 254. The 254 patients between the age of 2 to 34 years with an average follow-up of 7.5 months. 7 months and 7.5 months, yeah. So what do you see here? What do we see here is hyperactivity reduces again, self-injurious behavior becomes less, eye contact improves, attention concentration improves, social interaction improves, speech communication, command following. So all the areas improve with stem cell treatment. The different scores, the objective scores that are used are the CARS, the Childhood Autism Rating Scale, and ISA, that is Indian Scale for Autism Assessment. And these show significant improvement before the treatment versus post treatment. Based on the severity, age, gender, and duration of intervention, severity, you do see mild as well as moderate both improve equally well to about 93%. Age wise, age analysis is very interesting. Between 0 to 5 years, the there is a 97 to 98% success rate. So before 5 years, if you bring the child, the possibility of success is almost 98%. And between 5 to 10 years, the possibility of success is about 94 to 95%. And above 10 years, slightly it goes up to 90% or so. So as the age increases, possibility of success reduces slightly. Gender wise, both in males and females, the results are equally good. And earlier you bring the child after diagnosis, better the result. So if you bring within 1 year of diagnosis, this result is almost 100%. If you come between 1 year to 5 year, result is about 95%. And if you come 5 years after, it's not disconnected. Not okay. So if it's comes after 5 years, then the success rate is about 90 to 93%. So these are the publications. People wonder whether anything is happening in the world. The first ever publication that came from India, the second from China, third from Italy, fourth and fifth and sixth from US, and the seventh again from India recently in 2020, which I just shared with you. So there is a lot of evidence that stem cell does work in autism, and these are the different publications from Neurogen. Can it be combined with other treatments? Yes, it can be combined with hyperbaric oxygen, can be combined with your diet, with your biomedical treatment, and all other treatments can be done together, no problem. So comprehensive holistic treatment is acceptable here. So let us see a few improvement videos of certain patients. This is a 10-year-old boy from US who underwent stem cell therapy a few years back.
I couldn't get him to engage with me. I couldn't get him to give me eye contact. Over time, he started to lose a lot of vocabulary. Right around 18 months to the age of 2 years, he just slid backwards.
He would flap like that. He would walk on his tiptoes, look at the wall and be talking to the wall. He had problems with eye contact. He'd never look you straight in the eye. He had problems with his speech. So research and found out about neurogen. The big question that I had in my own mind was, what is there to lose? And I could not come up with a good answer. And I said, we have to do it.
We started seeing better eye contact, definitely a difference in his engagement with us, with his sibling, his mood. He's so much calmer now. He's all about taking his own shower. I have to just prompt him to get out, but he'll wash himself and he'll put his clothes on. It's all the PET scan images. We just, I can't tell you the word. We were just so excited and thrilled. The areas that were hypoactive or non-active were warm. There was activity there. Ganesh has gone from the third grade, fourth month reading level to a seventh grade, first month reading level in 5 months.
So Ganesh showed amazing improvement. his speech, his behavior, his understanding, his academics. He shifted from special school to normal school, top grade in all the subjects as well as languages. He knows English and Spanish. Ganesh has shown amazing, even though he was 10 years old, because of course, along with stem cell, his parents did a lot of work. But this is a story of triplets from Kenya.
Brought it up, they were like, oh, no, 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 don't worry, because they are boys, they are triplets, they were premature. I would be walking out and I'm like, bye. No child is crying, no child is waving back, bye. And by then, for sure, I knew that they should be doing that. Children had this behavior of disappearing. In fact, Eric disappeared 3 times in the middle of the night. The biting, the spitting, the scratching. How are we going to stop this behavior? We went to see the neurologist, and in 5 minutes, he said, these children are autistic.
As parents, it was very traumatizing. First of all, we didn't understand what autistic means.
So I decided to really get to read a lot about autism. I remember the first time I read about stem cell. I was like, wow, this is really good.
We had a lot of questions which we asked, and we got very clear answers from Dr. Sharma.
The day of the stem cell itself came. Actually, I was a bit anxious, of course, but really I didn't have fear, a bit of apprehension. Anxiety, of course, as a mother, but I knew they would hurt.
We put a needle in this pelvic bone and then we take out the bone marrow, which is the fluid inside the bone. The pure stem cells, once they are ready, a thin needle is inserted into the lower back. We inject the stem cells into the cerebrospinal fluid. It flows all the way up to the brain.
Things that would have taken probably years to be accomplished in my sons, in like 8 months' time, we've really been able to come very far.
So we see that with stem cell treatment, things happen faster.
But now they can use the toilet. We've seen a lot of improvement in terms of spitting. The tantrums are reduced. Sleeping used to be a problem before, but at the moment, he's taken to his bed, takes a few minutes, and he's asleep.
You see my son's cycle. You try to make them understand what it is to peg, and they couldn't. But after stem cell, when we arrived in Kenya the following day, when we went out, and this guy's cycle. I'm going to send you to buy tomato paste, okay? I'm going to send you to buy what? In the shop. Where is the shop?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give you
Mine.
for what?
Mine. Tomato. But. I have my shoes. That's right.
Parents ask me, so do you really think stem cell works? And I'm like, I can see changes, I can touch, I can feel, I can smell. Of course, for me, stem cell works. I'll do it until my children get well.
I can tell you my experience. I remember when Eric Lenny and Rick had come for the first time, there were terrors. We had to actually remove all the refrigerator, the microwave, and all the gadgets which were there in the room completely so that they could run around, and they used to spit. And I can still remember them. They've calmed down so much. Their understanding has improved. Rick is almost, he has normal conversation. He studies like a normal child. So out of the three, one has really come out of the autism spectrum. The other two, the second one has started speaking, and the third is understanding much better. So they're all moving towards a milder form of autism and out of the autism spectrum. So this is what stem cell does. It helps to improve the brain functioning, so that when you teach the child, when you train the child, your efforts become more productive. It's not going to happen overnight. It is a process. It's important to understand that you will also need to do your effort, but whatever you have been doing so far, it becomes just more responsive. This is a child from India, very close to my heart. When he came to us when he was 11 years old, and he's now 18 years old and 18 plus almost. So he came and he was like
Shattered
really
was my
huge.
first child, so I was very excited about how he would be. But when I came to know that my child has a problem, it shocked me and I wondered, why did this happen only to me?
Shantanu's behavior was very different from that of other normal children. For example, normal children walk on the feet, but Shantanu walked on his toes.
It has been 2 months since Shantanu stem cell therapy. There have been many changes and many improvements. His hyperactivity has reduced drastically, and his attention span has improved a lot. He sits patiently in one place. He has started coordinating with his sister very well. He plays with her very affectionately. We are glad we took the decision to give him stem cell therapy. It has been 6 months since the stem cell therapy. Shantanu has shown a lot of improvements. His hyperactivity is almost as good as non-existent. His handwriting has become much better. His eye contact has also become better. I have never seen Shantanu dancing, but now he takes a keen interest in dancing. He also likes to listen to music. He can now fold clothes. Earlier he was not able to fold even a handkerchief, but now he can easily fold blankets. He helps me in cutting vegetable and in cooking too. Goes to the market store for purchases. He passed his 10th grade. There have been improvements in many other aspects as well. For example, his emotional quotient has also increased. Now he hugs us very affectionately, calls me mother. Now he takes tuitions of other special kids.
So very, very, very lovable boy. Earlier he used to be like very tall and hefty and had a lot of self-injurious behavior. And he came a long way. He from open school he passed fifth standard, eighth grade, and 10th grade, and now 12th grade as well. So he is very lovable now. He can mix with other children. Parents can take him out without any worries. So many examples. This is a child from South Africa, young child who had come to us with a lot of sensory issues. This child had a lot of gravitational insecurity as well, and had a lot of auditory issues. With stem cell treatment, he became more tolerant, you can see, to sand and other things, as well as he's able to climb the stairs, as well as play on the different rides. He's able to eat by himself. His auditory hypersensitivity has reduced. So Tristan has really moved forward. You can see here the motor planning, control, the perception, as well as you can see. So all of these things improved within 6 months after the treatment. This is a child who came to us from Kenya again when he was 13 years old. He was practically inside his home. He could not even go to a special school because of severe hyperactivity, and he would run away from home, and very difficult to manage. After stem cell treatment, he has really calmed down. His eye contact has improved, hyperactivity reduced, attention concentration has become better. For 13 years, he has never uttered even one word, and now his oromotor improved, and he is at least able to answer some of the questions that you ask. He can do things at home, and he can now go to school. He is able to ride a bicycle and also do swimming. So this is something remarkable what he could not do in 13 years, he has achieved in the last 3 4 years. So like this there are many
Once upon a
oh,
time, Peter Chat was walking down the street and his friend knew white shoes. He loved his white shoes so much. Then he saw.
So before this, I want to tell you about this young man. He came to us when he was 4 years old, first time, and then he came to us when he was 5 years old, and now he's 7 years old. Now Zach was almost non-verbal. He had only few words, and after the stem cell treatment, this is the message that the mother sent me a few months back. That doing the treatment when he was young was very crucial for his foundation, and this child now makes his own stories. He likes to record the stories by himself. He is able to read better than his peers, and you can just listen to what he's saying. Just listen to his story, and you would be amazed at the impromptu story that he has made himself. It's very cute, I would
Once
say.
upon a time, Peter Chat was walking down the street and his friend knew white shoes. He loved his white shoes so much. Then he saw. I love my white shoes. I love my white shoes. I love my white shoes.
Just look at the voice modulation and expression.
He stepped in a large pile of strawberries. What color did it turn his shoes? Red. Gray. Goodness, no. He kept walking along and singing his song. I love my red shoes. I love my red shoes. I love my red shoes. Oh no! We stepped in a large pile of. What color did it turn his shoes? Blue! Said he cried. Goodness, no! Walking along and singing his song. I love my blue shoes. I love
Can you
my
imagine this is a child who was diagnosed to be autistic? So
No! We stepped in a large puddle of.
I think he can go on and on. His mother tells me that he is so addicted to, recording himself that till he's perfect, he keeps on recording it. He's a little bit of course, that autistic trait is still there of obsession. So now let's go on to cerebral palsy. So cerebral palsy is damage to the brain due to lack of oxygen to the brain, and it could be a problem whilst the child is in the mother's womb, when oxygen or the blood supply is not enough, or the child has low birth weight, or is preterm or premature, if the problem is during labor or shortly after birth. So any of these events can lead to damage to the brain, and depending on where the damage is, the child can either have problem in just one hand, or in one side of the body, or in the lower part of his body, or the whole body. So depending on that, or it can be have a lot of tightness or spasticity, can have involuntary movements or low tone. So this is a PET scan which is showing us severe damage. The black indicates severe damage to the brain or gliosis, and the blue indicates the salvageable or low functioning brain. So the black will not improve, but the blue areas here are very much salvageable. So what are the current treatments? You have surgery. If there is a deformity, you can open up the deformity, or there are orthotics, exercise, rehabilitation, Botox, and all these again from outside. Nothing really from inside the brain. So stem cell helps to improve the functioning from inside the brain. And this is analysis of 600 patients with 91% success rate. So about 9 to 10% again do not show any improvement, but some show maybe 5, 10, 15% improvement, and many of them show a good functional improvement over a period of time with good rehabilitation. So, what do we generally see? We start from the above. We see first understanding and comprehension improve beautifully. So, comprehension, understanding, then tongue movement, lip movement, chewing, swallowing, neck holding. Neck holding improves. Once the neck holding improves, then swallowing also will improve, and then the sitting balance or trunk, and then the hand function or the tone of the body becomes better. The child is able to balance better. Then standing and walking. So this is how the progression will happen, and it happens faster than when you would do only rehabilitation. So this is unpublished data of 262 individuals with cerebral palsy, where 179 males and 83 females, where we see different, which as I already told, different function improvement in different functions of the body, and different these are different scales, objective scales, which show, and this is a PET scan of the brain. You can see that there are blue areas and black areas. The black area indicate severe damage, while the blue area indicate areas which can improve, and after stem cell 6 months later, you can see the blue areas have become green while the black remain. So this is a published study, and all of these are publications. Let us see a few children who have shown improvement, and what kind of. This is a child who had jaundice at the time of birth, and this is because of kernicterus. There is a part of the brain known as basal ganglia, which gets affected, leading to severe involuntary movements and even cognitive defects. So this child who came from Nigeria after stem cell treatment stayed with us for a month, and within a month we could see amazing improvements in his trunk control, in his cognition, in his ability to handle himself and sitting balance, as well as use of hands. You can see his earlier he would topple down, and after stem cell treatment that he is able to maintain his balance much better. So balance improves very well after stem cell treatment, and once balance improves, then hand functions can also be um, taught. Voluntary function improves. Here you can see he's sitting much more calmly, and then hand functions. He's learning simulated having to how to have a bath. This is a child from Kenya who came to us 14 to 15 years old, quadriplegic cerebral palsy, who was unable to sit, stand, and walk independently, was completely wheelchair bound. When he came, cognitively he was good, but he had difficulty, very severe tightness, even vision issues. And after stem cell therapy, he learned how to dress himself, undress himself, use a mobile phone, get up and go to the fridge, open a bottle. So basically independence within the home, which is very important for him. Small things, and you can see here who was completely wheelchair bound is now able to walk without support. And this could happen in a 14-year-old child. You can imagine if we start early, how well we will be able to improve the child's condition. So this is a child who was severely quadriplegic with severe brain damage, and a part of the brain was not there. With stem cell treatment, he uses severe neck issues, neck control improved. He's just more alert. He looks around. He had no trunk balance at all, and trunk balance is improved slowly. You can see sitting balance has improved. So it starts with neck and then sitting. I'm sorry, what happened? Yeah, and then standing, and then you teach the child walking. So here the therapist is teaching him sitting up and standing, and now teaching him to ambulate. And he's taking steps now. So this child has come a long way. It took at least 2 to 3 years to reach this stage, but for 6 years the child was completely on the bed. In intellectual disability, when so in brain functioning is less, understanding, cognition is affected. You can see these blue areas of the brain functioning less, and about 84% is a success rate in intellectual disability, where cognition improves, remote memory improves, problem solving, understanding of relationships, social inhibitions, and toilet training. This is the first ever publication in the world which shows that stem cell therapy helps in intellectual disability, published from Neurogen. This is a scan of the brain. The blue area indicate damage, and you can see improvement in the brain functioning, becoming more green and more active. You can see here all these blue areas. This was as if the brain was atrophied or shrunk. have, after 6 months, all of this is activated. Similarly, so these are publications in intellectual disability. This is a 26-year-old girl from Mumbai who came to us. She was aggressive, her understanding was poor. She had motor planning was difficult. Her fine motor activity was also affected. Arithmetic or even copying and mathematics was not so good. After stem cell, all of that, her fine motor coordination and control of the hands, control, even behavioral control, all of that has improved, and she is able to play one of the most difficult instruments, and cooking. She's got interested in cooking, and she got a prize in one of the competitions. So this is a child who's become independent, and she works in a catering department for stem cell therapy. So there are many such examples. Down syndrome, again, Down syndrome, though it is a chromosomal condition where 21, the chromosome number 21 instead of 2 is 3. We still see improvement in brain functioning. So though Down syndrome has many different facets in the whole syndrome, what we are looking to do is improve brain functioning. So if there is a hole in the heart, a surgery has to be done. If there is a problem in thyroid, then medication has to be given. So what do you do for brain functioning? And that's what we do. We see that brain functioning, you can see here the blue areas have improved. So even here, understanding cognition, area for understanding cognition, for articulation is affected in these children, and that can be improved with stem cell therapy. So even though it's a chromosomal condition, this is a 12-year-old girl who Down syndrome, who had difficulty. You can see even tone was low, and climbing stairs were very difficult. The stem cell treatment, her tone is much better. Her comprehension understanding has improved. Her speech clarity has improved. She is able to solve puzzles, which earlier she had one, no concentration and no understanding. Now it is much better. Uh, her physical, cognitive, social aspect, emotional issues, emotional aspect has also improved. She helps her mother. She understands what's happening around her. She is able to communicate better. So in all aspects, though up till 12 years, also she was going to a school after stem cell treatment. This schooling has become much more effective after the treatment. She learns things quickly. Now she knows the days of the week, and she can do arithmetic, simple arithmetic calculation. She dances beautifully now. She participates in social programs. Her confidence has improved. So this is a way that the child has improved even after the age of 12 years. A Down syndrome child. So many people ask me, genetic conditions, when there is a chromosomal defect or there is a genetic defect, how can stem cell work? We're looking at improving the brain functioning by improving blood supply, by stimulating the brain, and hence the genetic issue really doesn't matter here. You can see improved hand-eye coordination. So overall, broadly, a lot of improvements in this child. So many such examples are there. Muscular dystrophy, muscle weakness leading to progressive palsy or paralysis, and disability. Though it is stem cell treatment is not a cure for this condition, we do see an improvement in the functioning. Many individuals have these kind of deformities. With stem cell, we can try and delay the process. We inject into the spinal fluid as well as into the specific muscles which are weak during the procedure. And what are we doing? We are improving the muscle functioning. We are stimulating the muscles to be able to prevent the breakdown of the muscles. Muscle repair, replenish the stem cell pool, reduce the inflammation, formation of new blood vessels, reduce the cell death, reduce fibrosis and conversion into fat, and improve the strength of the muscles and the nerves. So overall, we find 85 to 90% of the patient we can slow down the deterioration, and there will be some improvement in Duchenne muscular dystrophy patient, which is one of the most severe form of muscular dystrophy. These children stop walking between the age of 10 to 12, 8 to 12 years, and they lose their life by the age of 18 to 22 years. This stem cell therapy, we're able to slow down the deterioration and make them walk for a longer time, delaying the complications. So here you can see that muscle weakness increases with time. This is the progression in a regular muscular dystrophy patient. Stem cell therapy is done, at least we're able to stop the deterioration, and that itself is a hidden improvement that is seen. These are our different publications. An example of a child from Slovenia who came at the age of uh, 3 4 years to us. Earlier he had difficulty in even just crossing the path with stem cell therapy. His fitness has improved, his stability has improved, his deterioration has stopped, and he's able to now, earlier he used to fall while walking, he's able to run now, climb, uh, uh, he had no side effects, balance, he can walk up the hill. You can see that he's climbing the park, he's able to climb without any support. Disease progression has stopped. An MRI is also showing that there is minimal or no progression. And now he's able to ride a bicycle. So the progression is somewhere we are able to stall the progression. This is just an interim solution. This is not a definitive cure for this condition. Spinal cord injury in accidents, or when somebody falls, there is an injury to the spine either at the neck level or at the chest level or below the waist. The individual is paralyzed. So we are able to help improve the functioning. Let us see a few videos. This individual, he fell from a lift and was completely wheelchair bound, hip down, paralyzed. Even sitting was not great. So with stem cell treatment, slowly within a week or two, his core muscle strength improved, his balance improved. He was able to sit to stand on with walker. Was possible. Then hopping, we taught him how to hop. So some amount of control of the muscle. Then sit to stand, a person who was completely wheelchair bound, and then slowly with moderate support, and then walking with walkers. So this is how, and then now slowly the support is reducing, his calipers have gone down. This is at home. After the treatment, he continued his rehabilitation, and this is a progress that is seen. And now even the support is much lesser. It's below knee support that he walks with. This is an individual who was neck down paralyzed, and you can see that the balance and turning, he's able to turn better. Earlier he needed so much support. So starting from the trunk and upper limb strength, you can see he's able to do push-ups. So the trunk control and the hand muscles have improved. Upper limb strength is improving. So in a neck down paralyzed, our main aim is to improve the upper body strength. And connections. You can see that sitting balance is better. He doesn't need any support from behind. He's able to perform transfers. Earlier, two people needed to shift him. You can see two ladies in his house shifting him. Support while standing. Earlier, he used to require complete support while standing. Now he's standing in a parallel bar where the therapist is just standing behind for safety reasons. Independent standing in a walker now, from parallel bar to walker. He's able to lock his knee almost for 5 minutes. He's able to perform upper body dressing by himself. And most importantly, he wanted to write. He's an electrical engineer. He needed to sign in to be at his office. So this was achieved, and that's a big achievement for him. Brain stroke, paralysis, very common, one of the most common neurological conditions. About 35 million individuals in the world are afflicted with paralysis stroke. Now we see this in the younger age group. So the same procedure can be applied for these patients also, and about 90% of the patient we do see improvement in them, with 51% showing significant improvement. This is a brain scan. You can see dark blue areas, though not everything is restored, but you can see that completely non-functional cells have now started becoming functional here. These are all our publications. An example of a young boy, 24-year-old, with right-sided paralysis. You can see his hand functions were affected. Now he is able to use the hand for peg. These small fine motor movements are what do not improve with rehabilitation. With stem cell, that he was able to achieve a lot of hand function improvement, and that's what we see if we do stem cell with good rehabilitation. Recovery is amazing. Ataxia is a condition where the small brain atrophies, and you see problem in so balance, coordination, speech slurring, bladder bowel activity, control is lost, movements in the head increases, and you can see the small brain keeps on shrinking. You can see the blue here, and after stem cell treatment we can see an improvement in the small brain as well, or the cerebellum. Head injury because of accident, brain functioning can be affected, and we see that improvement in brain functioning after a head injury is also possible. Again, these are our publications. Motor neuron disease, we saw Stephen Hawking right in the beginning. With Stephen Hawking, his condition also motor neuron, and he was not fortunate enough to be able to receive stem cell therapy, in spite of the fact that he was the one who said that our body can heal our own ailments. But there are many individuals who are able to now get this treatment, and though it is not a cure for motor neuron, we are able to slow down the deterioration process. In a degenerative condition, that is one thing at least we can take heart from. So the survival, the number of months that individuals survive after stem cell treatment is much more than those who do not receive this treatment. What are the complications? There are no major adverse events. There is no tumor formation. There is no deterioration, no neurological deterioration. Some individuals after the treatment, immediately after between 24 to 72 hours, may have something known as a spinal headache, and that is because of the procedure, and that it is self-limiting. Within 3 to 4 days, it becomes all right. There could be some pain at the local site or backache, which can be covered with painkiller. And a few patients, or 3% of patients who have a history of seizures or whose EEG is abnormal, may get a transient increase in seizure, but that again can be controlled with medications. Now, along with stem cell, what more do we have to offer, and what are integrative therapies? Integrative therapies are allied treatment options, which, when integrated with stem cell therapy and rehabilitation, give better results, like hyperbaric oxygen therapy and ozone therapy, and deep tissue mobilization. So, hyperbaric oxygen, many people know, it's pressure, like you increase oxygenation in the tissues by giving 100% medical oxygen at higher pressure, and that increases the oxygenation of the plasma and helps the oxygen to reach all different nooks and corners of our body. uh, um, the second is ozone therapy. Ozone is medical O2, medical oxygen converted to O3. It's a super oxygen, and that again, super oxygen, it's a gas which helps to fight infection as well as improves the cellular respiration of our body. This is, it can be given in various forms. This is a sauna, like you take a steam, it's a sauna. This is an ozonator, where oxygen is converted. This is boto, where oxygen oil fumes can be taken in. It can be given rectally, it can be given in the ear, it can be given intravenous. So there are different ways that ozone can be introduced into the body. Gut cleansing. This is generally for the adults. This is colon hydrotherapy. It helps to clear the gut completely, so that all the muck in the gut can come out, and you can again inhabit your gut with good bacteria, and improve digestion and thereby nutrition absorption. Cryotherapy for muscle pain and mild pain, though this is not directly related to the neurological condition, this is something which all of us also benefit from. I have taken it myself. Infrared sauna and intravenous vitamin therapy. Generally, we give it in adults. So this is Neurogen Brain and Spine Institute in Navi Mumbai Seawoods. We have treated over 10,000 patients from 70 different countries. And we have an infrastructure where we have most of the treatments, all the treatments in-house. This is very near a beautiful lake of seawood and hence very, very pleasant surroundings. And this is the operation theater where the procedure is done. And along with that is connected the state-of-art stem cell laboratory just adjacent to the operation theater within the complex itself. Comprehensive rehabilitation under one roof, very, very important part of our treatment. Physiotherapy department, adult occupational therapy, autism child development center, especially for children, spinal cord injury walking tract for adult patients to make them walk, sensory integration room for children with autism and those with sensory issues, occupational therapy, learn to do your activities in a playful way, speech therapy, special education and art therapy and music therapy. Uh, all the books that we have written for parents as well as for professionals. This is our core team, Dr. Alok Sharma, the visionary behind this whole program, and a neurosurgeon, uh, uh, and the director of Neurogen, myself, deputy director and head of medical services, Dr. Nandini, Dr. Jacob, the head of neurorehabilitation, with a 50-year of experience behind him, Dr. Prerna Bade, the head of the stem cell laboratory, and Dr. Himangi Sane, again a deputy director and head of research. We have ISO and accreditation and GLP GMP. Our laboratory is accredited, and all these we have received the European awards as well as state and national awards for the work that we do and our commitment to disability as well as to stem cells. So to help you reach us, this is our website. Please do look at it. You can send us a query on contact@neurogenbsi.com and we will get back to you as soon as possible, and we can set up a Skype interview or an appointment. Each one of the person who reaches us is appointed a coordinator who would be coordinating all the processes of your consultation as well as the treatment. And Mumbai, generally it's a 1 week treatment, Sunday to Saturday, where first 2 days is about tests and evaluation, the third or fourth day is about the procedure itself, and then rehabilitation and discharge. So though people are worried about COVID, and there is a lot of worry while traveling as well. It's been a year since all of the pandemic started, and it's going to continue for a couple of years. Somewhere, I feel we need to restart our lives. So there are patients coming from all over India as well as from abroad, and uh, let's look at their experience.
My full name is Lorraine. I'm on Banda. I use Banda because I'm married. I am from Kitwe, Zambia. Zambia is a country in Africa, Central Africa. That's where I am coming from. I came on the 27th of November from Lusaka, Zambia, via Dar es Salaam in Tanzania to Mumbai, which is in India. I brought my son to the Neurogen Institute, Brain and Spine Institute. I came from Zambia to India. I traveled safely. All that is required, should I say, for a person around this time of the COVID period to travel is to have the COVID certificates, which I did. We managed to get them on time to travel. So traveling from Zambia to Dar es Salaam Technology Center. That's the very most important document. That one has got to have in order to travel. Otherwise, they don't allow anyone on the plane. So once they saw that one from Lusaka, Zambia, they asked the same even in Mumbai when I arrived for the same document. The European team have been very, very excellent in as far as giving documentation is concerned. They are efficient, they produce the information right on time. They never delayed my preparations. I had them on time. The Neogen Institute, Recruitment Center is very, very accommodating staff. In my country, they are just giving visas for medical travel. It doesn't matter where you're going, but it has to be the medical visa. That medical visa is issued to the person who is traveling, who is sick, as well as the attendant to attendant. So the airports are not congested as before. The airports are just okay, but still there are a lot of people traveling.
This lady came with her son, a 15-year-old autistic son from Zambia. So, and that too at the peak of COVID in November. So, yes, COVID is there. It's a reality, and we have to learn to live with the new normal, as we call it. So, how is Neurogen different? We have the largest number of publications in the world. We are scientifically inclined. We do a lot of research and we analyze our data. We've written book chapters for various books. We exclusively treat neurological cases only. We use very safe treatment, that is autologous cells injected intrathecally and thereby safe and effective. We combine stem cell treatment with rehabilitation. We've treated over 10,000 patients from 70 different countries. We have senior experienced professional across many specialities. We are constantly researching, looking at what are newer ways and what are, in addition, what can we do. And we have ethics committee internally, which is certified by our government. So in conclusion, adult stem cell therapy taken from the patient's own bone marrow is safe and effective for treatment for children, for treatment of adult as well as pediatric neurological condition where no definitive treatments are. And many people do ask me, does it really work? Is it something, should we believe in it? So as a father of our nation says, to believe that what has not occurred in history will not occur at all is to argue disbelief in the dignity of man. We have to always look ahead, look for hope, look for possibilities, and believe that something good is around the corner.
Scientists believe these tiny cells may have the potential to help us understand and possibly cure some of our most devastating diseases and conditions, to regenerate the severed spinal cord and lift someone from a wheelchair, to spur insulin production and spare a child from a lifetime of needles, to treat Parkinson's, cancer, heart disease, and others that affect millions of Americans and the people who love them. Today, with the executive order I am about to sign, we will bring the change that so many scientists and researchers, doctors and innovators, patients and loved ones have hoped for and fought for these past 8 years. We will lift the ban on federal funding for promising embryonic stem cell research.
I think very few people know about this
There's
very
no finish line in the work of science. The race is always with us. The urgent work of
important
giving substance
speech
to
by
hope and
President
answering
Barack
those
Obama.
many bedside prayers. Seeking a day when words like terminal and incurable are potentially retired from our vocabulary.
Thank you for patient hearing, and I hope you find this webinar useful, and I'm open to questions now. So Gabriel, first, Gabriel here has asked that my son is 4 years old and he still doesn't have speech. I wanted to try stem cell. My main concern is he has a health condition called cystic fibrosis. Is he going to be a good candidate for stem cell? Gabriel, could you we should discuss this. Please do send me all the details. We will need, in case of cystic fibrosis, we will just need to check about anesthetic fitness, depending on how severe the condition is right now. Um, so please do get in touch with us with all the details, because cystic fibrosis is a lung condition, and if the condition is severe, then it could be risky for him. So we need to evaluate it in much more depth. Has he been evaluated also for autism, or is it just speech because of hearing deficit? So that again is important here. Zephyr, एक ही क्वेश्चन है ना? Please do feel free to drop in your question. Okay. My son is 5 years old. He's non-verbal. Will he become verbal with stem cell? I know he may improve his physical and social ability, but my concern is around verbal and speech. I understand that the parents' most concern is whether the child will become verbal. When child is 5 year old, he has good potential to become verbal, but it may take some time. Speech is a staged, it requires certain stages to go through. Without understanding and comprehension, if the child speaks, then it would be nonsensical speech. So I did show a video of a child who was practically non-verbal at the age of 4 and 7. He can make his own stories. So it process. It took about a year or a year and a half or 2 years for the child to speak. So speech is definitely possible, but you need to have holistic improvement in a child with autism. Otherwise, only speech is of no use. He says, we saved my son's umbilical cord and tissue. How likely stem cells extracted from it can be used for treatment? If yes, does it produce a better result compared to adult stem cells extracted from bone marrow? Cord blood and adult stem cells both have their plus and minus. Cord blood, though theoretically it would be a younger stem cell, a day zero stem cell, but it can be given intravenously. At present, we do not advise it to be given into the spinal fluid. So it can be given intravenously. The advantage of using bone marrow is that because it doesn't go through a chemical process, that's why it can be injected into the spinal fluid without having any danger of any side effects or damage or anaphylactic reaction. Cord blood is saved in dimethyl sulfoxide. It is a cryopreservant at minus 190 degrees centigrade, and thereby it becomes a little bit risky to put it into the spinal fluid. So both have their plus and minus. So when you put into intravenously into the spinal into the intravenous into the blood, then these cells get filtered and most of them get trapped in the lungs. So very little actually reaches the brain, and thereby for brain conditions, it has lesser efficacy. Another question. Oh, I cannot get response from Indian embassy. I'm not able to. Can I see this question? पूरा नहीं दिख रहा है. ये वाला इसका. I cannot get any response from Indian embassy. Your coordinator and yourself tried sent to mail, email to embassy. No answer so far. What are the other alternatives? We'll have to just wait and keep calling them. Maybe. If I know your name, we would try and follow. Where is it in the US or UK? We are getting better response in UK and US is taking longer time rather. So please do give your name so that we can follow it up. So Krishna Pillai says 12 years old son with autism. We have sent all the information. We are still waiting for the COVID restriction, waiting for North American person who did treatment that we can talk to directly if possible. Yes, Mr. Krishna Pillai, there are many patients from North America who have taken treatment. And the COVID restrictions, there are people coming from the US. I know it's difficult, but the restrictions are going to be on and off. Once the restrictions open, child is already 12 years old. So, age is very important, time is very essential. Hopefully don't let the year go by. And we could of course connect you to some patient. You can speak to Ganesh, his father, whose video I showed. They are in the US, and I'm sure they'll be happy to speak to you. Meena says my son has Phelan-McDermott syndrome. Amina, could you please email us the details? I would really need to look up what are the issues in this syndrome. I think it's a very rare condition, and we can help you. If we can help you, we will get back to you for sure. Uh, Mr. Krishna Pillai says his 12-year son is verbal with prompts. That's good. At least we have something to build upon. एक मिनट एकदम ऊपर जा रहा है तो एकदम नीचे जा रहा है इसको कैसे रखना है Yeah. I have been diagnosed as transverse myelitis and paraplegic with no bladder bowel control with stem cell therapy help. Happened 2018. I'm 59 years old. Yes, transverse myelitis patients can be helped with stem cell therapy. We can help improve your ability to for motor abilities are much better response, and we get better response in motor abilities. Sensory improvement does take a lot of time and lot of therapy, so do get in touch with us and we should be able to help you. Hello, my son is 6 years old and has autism. Recently, we went for a small genetic test and discovered he has gene variants for BDNF, AD, BR2, DRD2. How do you? Is also minimal verbal. There is intellectual disability. What are the chances of getting better with stem cell? So I'm going to keep the genetic test a little bit on the side. And 6 years old with some vocalization and intellectual disability has good possibility of improving with stem cell therapy. Now, as far as the gene variants are concerned, these variants may not always be responsible for the phenotype or the problem. And even if they are responsible, really you can't do much about the genetic variants, but you can improve the brain functioning, which I emphasized earlier on in my talk. So I'm sure your child can be helped with stem cell treatment. The cost of the treatment will be, please communicate with us directly, and we will, our coordinators will get back to you about the cost. Phelan-McDermott syndrome doesn't talk, he doesn't understand, and is autism level 3, 4-year-old can, yes, I'm sure it can help him. Unless, Samina, we should be able to help your son. Mark Lavania. Mark, did I get your question? I'm not sure. What was your question? And if I'm able to help you, thank you. Most welcome. कहाँ पे था?
Chat box में किसने डाला है? नहीं mention नहीं है.
So, Mark saying would love to contact you and your team about the treatment. Please do contact us, Mark. My email ID is drnandini.g@neurogenbsi.com, or you can send an email at contact@neurogenbsi.com, and we would set up a virtual communication or a virtual discussion. I would be happy to speak to you. We got a question on another chat, and which I would like to address from Farida, I think. Some neurologists are saying that stem cell therapy is giving a fake hope to parents for autistic kids. So my question, why do they think that? I mean, you should ask them why do they think that. It's a very it has a lot of background. Few things, as I said, the controversy behind stem cells started from the US when the embryonic stem cell was banned by George Bush on the basis of religious grounds. However, the East started looking at other options which are more ethical and which are lesser possibility of any side effects, and those are the adult stem cells. Now, neurologists generally are very conservative and they think that autism really does, there is no brain damage in autism. However, we have scientific evidence which are published, and I wish people would read it. And if they read it, then they will understand the logic behind what we are saying. And we've treated 2,500 children, not one, two, or 10. So, and we have shown evidence, and that's for them to read and analyze it. Okay, Mark. Glad I could help you. Uh, Krishna Pillai. Can you please tell me if anyone in Canada we can talk to, because we have four friends here travel together for treatment. All want to talk to person rather seen video. You want somebody from Canada or from North America? Yes, we should be able to connect you. I'm sure. My daughter, Pamini says my daughter is 6 and has IVH. Okay. Hemorrhage grade 4, hydrocephalus, history of seizures. Will you be able to help her? Yes, we should be able to help her, Pamni. We need to understand more at the age of 6 how much she has improved. We need to see if there are any other comorbids like deformities or bone issues. The hydrocephalus has been treated with shunt. I think I have seen your child's details. Have you contacted us before? Then, if yes, I remember this child. Um, we will do a one-on-one and see how much we can help your child. What will be the recovery period after bone marrow extraction, and does it have any future side effects? The recovery period is immediate. Within few days the bone marrow recovers and there are no long-term side problems with the bone marrow aspiration. It is one of the safest procedures. I've been doing it for 12 years now with no problems at all. My 5.5-year-old autistic son has SPTAN1 gene mutation, as infantile seizures during his 6 months, although his seizure free in last 5 years. Will seizure come back after this treatment? Clinical trial has generated due to seizure history. So seizure, there's a 2 to 3% chance of seizure recurring. That's why we put the child or individual on anti-epileptic cover. Um Even if the seizure do come back, it can be controlled. We do treat children with active seizures as well, those who have multiple seizures in a day, understanding that there is a possibility of seizures. So there is a small possibility which cannot be completely ignored. However, when due care is taken, we can actually get around that problem. Mark, yes, we would connect you to the individuals. Yes, I said my dog will do one and one. Yes, Pamni, we will do a one-on-one sometime next week. Gabriel, Gabriel, we will get in touch with you, Gabriel, to understand more about your son's condition. I need, as I said, I need to understand how severe the cystic fibrosis is. And then we will be able to decide whether he is a good candidate for stem cell treatment or not. Ravi, you are not getting responses. How is that? How is that possible? Yes, you can reach me. My number is +91 99877 03080. Did I put it here? Or you can email me at drnandini.g@neurogenbsi.com or contact@neurogenbsi.com. I will check why you have not got proper response. This is usually not the case. Could you tell your, could you put your child's name in a private chat box and I will look it up. I'll ensure that you get a response tomorrow. Any other questions? Yeah, so my email ID is also here. Mr. Krishna Pillai, if you travel now, there is a 15 days quarantine must try. That's why we're waiting for vaccination. Return to our country another 14 days. When this lift, only traveling is possible. Uh, yes, so patients who are coming here, uh, we do give a letter of quarantine exemption, and so patients can come directly to the hospital and they do not need quarantine. But yeah, when you go back to your country, that you need to check. But for coming into India with a medical visa or a letter about for medical treatment, you don't you are not required to be quarantined. No. What is the maximum number of stem cell therapy treatment we can do? Theoretically, there is no maximum limit. Number of procedures. We do a procedure and then we follow for at least 6 months before another procedure is done. Depending on the severity of the condition in a patient with autism, an average of 2, 3, but rarely above 4. In cases of muscular dystrophy, we have done multiple, many times because it is a degenerative condition, and every 6 months to a year, we do require to do another treatment. Most welcome, Mark. How sustainable, long lasting are these improvements? Could we expect them to be permanent? Do we have data on that? Yes. In depending on the condition that we are treating in autism, or cerebral palsy, these are long lasting as long as you are doing therapy and you are training your child. These are long lasting improvements. We have follow up of 10 years now. So, the only time that if there is a up and down is when the child is in the hormonal phase or a teenage phase, there could be a little bit up and down, but by and large, these are sustained improvements. Only in case of degenerative condition like muscular dystrophy, the improvements or the stability remains for 6 to 8 months, and we do need to do repeated treatments. Farah, I have 2-year-old son with non-verbal, 4-year-old with moderate CP. Do you think both will benefit? If so, how long can they stay in India for more improvement? Yes, both will show improvement. Both are still young. How long will you stay for more improvement? See, there are people who stay for a month. There are people who stay for 6 months. Depending on the visa that you get, you can the longer you stay, better would be. So, if you want the push, then I would say stay for at least a month if possible. 3 months would be very good. Farah, you're most welcome. Yes, July. Yes, time runs fast. July will be there around the corner. As we stay in US, how long should we stay for treatment? See, it's a minimum of a 1 week treatment. If you're coming and you have the possibility, then stay for at least 2 weeks. Then we can do with stem cell treatment, rehab, and integrative therapies like hyperbaric oxygen and ozone therapy. People are, since they're coming from so long, and there are people who are staying for a month also. The second treatment would generally happen after 6 months. So you don't really need to stay for 6 months, but stay for at least 2 to 3 weeks if it's a feasible option for you. I would request you to log in from your name because I'm finding it difficult to figure out whom am I responding to. It's coming as anonymous attendee. इधर बोल रही हूँ मैं. So if you're done with the questions, then I will let you enjoy your Saturday or a weekend. Do get in touch with me. I'm happy to answer your questions on email, and or you could reach directly. You could reach me on my WhatsApp number +91 998 03080. Drop me a message. I would be happy to chat with you. Mr. Ravi, we could connect you to Ganesh's parents on email, and we do not give out contact numbers directly. If we can, or we connect you on conference call, I think email would be better, and they can respond to you. And if they are agreeable, they will share. They are usually very happy to share, but if it's better if they share it rather than me giving the number to you, isn't it? I think you would appreciate that we take care of the privacy of our patients. We respect that. Mr. Ashok Hardikar, very nice presentation, Dr. Thank you. Planning on being at Neurogen next month. Mr. Hardikar, most welcome and looking forward to meeting you soon. So, Mr. Ravi, you can get in touch with me directly. I would be happy to answer all your questions. I've given out my number to you as well. So, do drop me a message. Do USA health insurance company cover the cost? Have you ever billed the cost of? No, we have not. I do not recollect US health insurance company any whether no. I do not recollect anybody actually covering the cost. Not to my knowledge. People have tried, but I don't think it has been covered. Okay. So have a good day and good night to those who are on my timeline because it's 11 p.m. here. And so sayonara, take care, be safe, and are we done with the questions? Bye. Joe, you will be sent this video what is it? Recording. Have a great day. Bye.